Alright guys, welcome back to the stream. Yours truly has a decent amount on his mind right now, and I suppose there are some things I'm gonna talk about today. I find it interesting that this photo was turned sideways. I find it interesting that this X was going on. Shapes, what's up, amigo? How you guys doing today? Taking it easy. As you. I don't know, man. I'll be honest. Like, the way I'm feeling today, the way I'm feeling right now, there's a part of me that's that's just on fire. Like, honestly, man, I can't shake the feeling. Man, I guess the only thing to do is talk about it, right? Talk about it, get it out. Share the conversation with you guys and let you know how I feel about what's going on with me. What's going on, Shapes? No worries, it's nothing big, nothing crazy. I'm just, infuriated, Like, man, listen. With this video, I'll be honest, I don't care about likes on this video. I don't care about views. I just like there's some things that irritate me, And like if I'm being quite honest, he said Fridays are the worst. Usually not, man. Usually not. Takes so long for school to end because Fridays are the days that you look forward to going home the most, so it always seems like it's the longest. But like the thing that really infuriates me is that I was sitting there and there are some things that I had to deal with this week, right? And then you go to like the job that like where I go to work, I was thinking about it like on the ride there. I was in a house by myself. I was talking to myself. I was having a full-fledged like conversation, like with the gods. You said gym is one of the classes that makes time go, but that's like the best class in the world is gym. And I mean, I remember when I was in gym class, I would just talk to the ladies. Like the thing that was infuriating me today, and it's every once in a while, it comes back and it hits me all over again. And it's like one of those things that you can't escape the thoughts that are running wild in your head. Like, truth be told, nothing infuriates me more in this world than seeing the differences between the people in this world that have and people in this world that have not. It's a part of me that burns. It's a part of me that literally keeps me up at night. There have been nights where I didn't want to go to sleep. There have been times where I didn't want to talk to nobody. There have been times where I just wanted to be just silent for a couple of hours and not say anything, because I don't like what I see. You know? Like, and look, don't get me wrong, okay? Like, don't get me wrong. I am extremely aware of the situations that other people are in. I don't have all of the details, but I'm aware enough to know that there are things that we can and cannot control in these situations. The reason why it dawns on me the way that it does, the reason why I get upset the way that I do, is not because I care. It's because in this world, you'll see people that you want to help. You'll see people that need help. You'll see people that could use the help. But then these very people are some of the same people that actively put themselves in the situations that they're in, right? That's one thing. Situation number two, when you talk about the 10%, the 15% of the people in the world that have all the money, have all the cars, have the biggest houses, like now you guys are actually starting to see what I was thinking about all this week. I was chill at first, but I'm not so chill right now because it's irritating, right? You'll see like I said, you'll see the 15%. They have the houses, they have the cars, they have, forget jewelry, because I don't care about things like that. I'm talking about they have the house, they got the car, they got like this, it's not the lifestyle, but they have the opportunity to have a certain thing manifest, right? They got that. Now, once you leave the areas in which the 15% live, you go back to where you come from, and you don't see none of that. And then somewhere along the line, in my mind, I think about it like, why is that the case? You know, like, why is it that you'll see these people that have so much in life, then you look across the way and you see so many people without? Now, I get it that to a certain extent it all boils down to the choices that people make. There's something about that part that really irritates me, especially when we're looking at able-bodied people, you know, like people that have the ability to make better decisions, people that have the ability to take control of the lives and the circumstances that they've been dealt, you know, like you can't bargain, you can't argue for like a different hand, you know, like the hand that you get is the hand that you work with. Like, you can't control where you're born. You have no control over the parents that you're born to. You have no control over the environment that you're born into. To a certain extent, you have no control over the school that you go to for as long as you're a young one. Until you're 18, you really don't have the ability to make certain decisions. But within that time of like you growing and doing your own thing, learning, developing your mind, figuring out the type of person that you want to be in the world, you have you have multiple routes that you can take, because we all know at this point life has no rules. You kind of do whatever you want, as long as you aren't hurting anybody, as long as you aren't harming anybody, as long as your intentions are not placed in ill will, or as long as you don't have evil intentions, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can live in a big house, you can make a lot of money, live in a mansion, or you can live in a tiny house. You can live in a trailer, you can live in a bus, deck it out and make the bus look like the best home you've ever seen on four wheels, like you can do things like that. Well, I see you, okay? Like my thing is like, like I said, there are no rules. You can kind of do whatever you want. Now with that fact, you have these people that, like, you can always point someone out. You can always see it. I don't know if it's confirmation bias. I don't know if it's just there and it's just so common that you can always point that out. But you see so many people out there in the world that don't have anything. Everywhere you go, you can find someone out there in the world that has less than what you have. Now, some of these people you'll look at, you'll say to yourself, oh, well, this person probably didn't make the best decisions in life, so this is why they have this situation. Now, what I'm saying is, I get that, and I understand that. My question is, at what point do you decide that you don't care anymore? Because I look at the job that I have, and not even the job that I have now, but the job that I had before. It was the same situation. You'll see these people, they're growing, they're learning, and at some point they're going to be in a situation where it's going to test the very character of who they are. Are they going to be strong enough to be themselves? Are they going to be strong enough to say no when it matters the most? Are they going to be able to make decisions that will benefit them long term? Now, you can't, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. I understand that. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm not perfect, okay? As much as I try to do the right things all the time, there are some times where I will sit there, I will look, I may get irritated, I will refuse, I will be stubborn. That is who I am now. To a certain extent, I've always been stubborn, but I've always known to make the proper decisions. Like I said, like there are things that I can't control. So to a certain extent, I can't beat myself up about something that I have no control over. That doesn't mean that I have to sit here and accept the way that things are. Like let me tell you guys something that I absolutely hate. Something that has been bothering me all week. I hate the fact that I hate 80%, maybe 80 to 90% of the idea of renting. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about. I want to get down to the very word of what I mean. Because second to renting is leasing. Here is what pisses me off about that whole situation. Right? Based on the things that I've seen in this world, based on people that I've seen, based on their homes that I've gone into, that I've sat down and had conversations with, based on the areas that I've been to, based on where I come from, I see the wealthy, or I see I won't say wealthy. I see the fortunate and I see the less fortunate, right? I see both sides. And then people may not know, but there's like a third there's a gray area. That's everything else in between. People doing their thing, getting by as they see fit. You know, like, I just don't like the idea that there are so many people out there in the world that have so much, and then there are so many people out there that have so little. Meanwhile, everyone in between, you can divide, you can slice that down the middle. You want to know why? Because once you, if you X out the extremely wealthy, and then you X out the extremely poor, you have people in the middle. Now, what'll end up happening? You're gonna have, you slice that down the middle, and you're going to see the same thing, and then I know it may sound weird, and I'm trying to make sense of the whole thing, but you're gonna have to slice that 4 ways too, because once you get rid of the extremely rich and the extremely poor, the middle gets divided into 3 more pieces, because now you're going to have a new set of people that are going to be classified as the wealthy. You're going to have a new set of people that are going to be classified as poor. And then everyone in the middle of those 2 ends are going to be is going to be that new gray area of people. You're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to slice that down the middle. Then you're going to have half of these people that aren't poor, but they're barely making it. Then you're going to have the other half of people who aren't rich, but they're doing pretty well. And then my thing is like in that middle area, you have not even there, but like you can take all of the ends, like take all of the ends together and look at it that way and say a lot of it has to do with the choices that you make from the time that you're little up until the time that you're able to make independent choices on your own. At least that's how I look at the world. Like I say all the time, you have a lot of people that complain about, the US and how it is as a country, this and that. But guess what? I don't know many places in the world where you can be born in the US with literally nothing, and you can if you make the right decisions, or if you happen to be at the right place at the right time, then you can become a millionaire, as long as you put your mind to it, grind, and if you get that open window, when you manage to slide in there, you have a decent amount of money, like you have a name for yourself, you have a livelihood now, even though you came from nothing, like all I'm saying is when it comes down to the US, I don't know of many places that where that's a possibility, where you can do that. Now, with that being said, I kind of look at the world that way. I know, don't get me wrong, I know that there are people out there in the world that have serious issues that they had no control over, like there are people that have circumstances that they absolutely cannot recover from. That I understand, and I understand that there are people that that are on the opposite end of that spectrum, and they have issues as well that they can't recover from, when it's just that everyone in the middle is trying, they're doing their thing, trying to make ends meet, trying to make everything make sense. And I get frustrated because sometimes it seems like for me, like every once in a while you get this, at least for me, I get this feeling that, am I the only one that thinks the way that I do? Is there something wrong with the way that I think? Is that what it is? Or like, is it just the fact that I see all of these possibilities through all of the excuses that people normally make? Is that what it is? Is that why I am a purposeful person? I'm ambitious. I'm not as loud, with it. But I want to have certain things in my life. And there are a couple of routes where that is a possibility for me. Outside of that, nothing else makes sense. Now I know that our community is small, so my voice doesn't reach a lot of people. I know that. One thing that I do know is that there's only one way to kind of get to where you want to get in life. No matter what you do, like, you have to be, you have to have purpose. You have to have some type of goal, some type of long-term goal in mind. You know, it's not the easiest thing, and I understand that it's easier said than done. But I feel like one thing that everyone on the face of this planet have, if you're able to walk, if you're able to run, jog, jump, sleep, if you're able to talk, there's one thing that majority of us people have that people that are no longer alive don't have, and that's time. Okay? Now, you got time to get it right. You have time to learn a new skill, do new things. You have time to build the person that you want to be, build the lifestyle that you want to have. Everyone knows that at the end of the day, that's going to require money, and a significant amount of money. Now, here's the thing. When it comes down to like money and things like that, like the only thing that I can think of right now was when it comes out, let's say that you at some point in your life you want to have a house. There's only one way that you will get a house, whether it be a house, whether it be a condo, whether it be a loft. You must be in the program to own that spot that you're paying for at some point. Nothing irritates me more than living somewhere that you're gonna consistently be paying for and you will never own it. There is something in me that boils, that hates that scenario, because like I said, you have so many people out there in the world that have these houses, and then you have people out there that just don't. And the people that don't, like, they say that I want to have this one day, I want to have that one day, but they are not in the business to get those things, like the things that they're doing, not on a day-to-day basis. Because I know, like I said, no one's perfect. It's just things that people do in general. It really, it doesn't seem like it pushes them towards their goals. Now, I know that sometimes you can't see the forest through the sleeves. Sometimes you can't see the miracle through what's happening right now. If I'm not mistaken, aren't blessings in disguise? I agree. Hate that people can let each week for a house and not own it. Then they get kicked out by the rich. Kicked out by the rich. No, it's not even getting kicked out by the rich. It's not even that, because those are like extreme circumstances. Those are really extreme circumstances. Like, that's something that they will call gentrification. And taking the anger out of it, taking the emotion out of it a little bit. I don't know if I'm being emotional, but I'm just kind of being real with what I see. I cannot entertain the idea for too long about paying for something that you will not own. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna just go get a lease for a car. You're paying for a car that you'll never own. You're paying to drive around in a car, and what pisses me off even more is that you have people out there in the world that are completely content with that. And I'm like, I understand that. Oh, you know what? I don't want the responsibility. It's less responsibility. Why would you not want to have something that you can call your own, that somebody can't just take from you? Now, don't get me wrong. In the world that we live in, you really don't truly own anything. Like that. I totally understand. To a certain extent, you will never truly own anything, because All it takes is some extreme circumstance to completely flip your world upside down. That I know. Outside of all of these extreme situations, outside of all of these extreme circumstances, you have a ton of people that have houses, they have cars, they have houses and cars that for some reason you'll look at it and be like, I could never afford something like that. There are people out there that not only do they have a house, not only do they have like their dream car, but they could go buy those things again. Meanwhile, you got all of these people on the other side that can't even afford to be in the same neighborhood as these peoples. I mean, as everyone else. And I know a lot of those words I kind of say it wrong. I said I had a lot of plurals mixed in with singular words, but at the end of the day, I just hope that my point comes across perfectly. And it's like, Josh, what's going on with you? Why do you feel this way? Why do you feel the need to talk about this? I feel the need to talk about this stuff because I know what I want in life, okay? I want to be able to make certain decisions. Like I want to live in a safer neighborhood. I want to live in a safe neighborhood, period. I want to be able to do certain things. I want to be able to have the opportunity to be in a place that I can call a sanctuary. I want that. Now I know that it's a work in progress. You take it a day at a time, you take it a step at a time, which means you get a job, you start working. You may hate that job, but you got to keep the job because the income has to come from somewhere. Now, I know people say invest, but you need to know where you want to invest. But I just say, maybe if you don't know, maybe get the ball rolling. Just invest in something small, like $20. Start there. Just do it so that you can get an understanding of how money flows in a stock market. Just do that. And I mean, that's what they say. If you want to build wealth, the money that you have to figure out a way to have that money working for you. And I understand all of that. Like, in order for you to really gain access to the things that you want in life, you have to figure out how to grow your money without having to work substantially hard. I know they say work smarter, not harder, but in order for you to learn how to work smarter, you have to first work harder to figure out what works and what doesn't. Okay? And I know at this point I'm rambling, and me going back and forth doesn't make too much sense. The thing is, at the end of the day, I want to be successful. I want to be able to take care of the same people that took care of me. One thing that I do not appreciate, at least right now, is the fact that in order for you to gain access to certain things, in order for you to build up to certain things, it takes time. I'm not mad at the time part. I'm more frustrated at the average. All of a sudden my watch is super tight on my arm. Like I said, there are some things in this world that you just can't change. You gotta deal with it. And I guess I can accept that. I just don't like it. And that's not a life that I want to live. I don't want to be 65. I don't want to be 65 years old with $300,000 in savings. I don't want that. Or like $500,000 in savings. I don't want that. Why would I want to have that amount of money at that age? Then, why would I want that? Now, I'm not greedy. I'm not materialistic. I don't care for money like that. And I know it may sound like I'm contradicting myself, but the point of the matter is, why does it take the average American till they're 60 to retire? Why? Because then all of these older people get the access to the money. They get access. Like, if has it ever occurred to anyone that, like, people that are sick, people that are, like, older, 55, 60, maybe I don't know, maybe late 40s, why does it ever occur to people that when people get around that age, like, those age brackets, that's when they get the cars, that's when they have the ability to to get, like, the houses that they want? And it's like, why should you have to work your whole life to get that stuff when you're older, when your body might, on a balance of probabilities, when your body might not be as strong as it was when you were in your 20s and early 30s. I don't want that for me. Now look, car wash, happy birthday to your sister. Like, for me, I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't want that at that point, I want to be able to like get up, move around, lift things up, put them down. I want to be able to like enjoy the things that I've accomplished younger. I don't want to have all of those things older, because I already know that I'm a pretty chill individual. I keep to myself. I don't speak unless I'm spoken to. I know me, and I know how I am as an individual, okay? I don't always get everything right, and I know I don't. I make a lot of mistakes. I say a lot of stupid things. But one thing that burns in me, one thing that I take extremely seriously in this life is the things that I want to accomplish. Like, I want to get a house. Like, cars I don't care about cars like that. But it's like, for me, when it comes down to cars, it's like, I just want things that I appreciate and that I find valuable. What do you mean about that? What I'm saying, car wash, is that there is nothing more that I want in this world than to reach the success that I see for me at an age where I can move around and enjoy things to the fullest when I want to, like, on my time. Carwa says, my sister's birthday tomorrow. Yes, indeed. You just told me, Car Wash. You just told me. I don't know, man. It's just all this week. I kind of been a little upset about this whole situation, man. Like, the whole situation. Like, there are just some things that absolutely bother me. I truly feel now, I don't know if I've ever felt like this before, but I feel like it more so now, that I truly think that if you are putting money into something and you are not getting a return on that investment, it is a waste of money. It's a waste of time. Immortalize what's going on. I just feel like it's a waste of time. That's like saying every month you have to pay $1,200 for a car. By the end of that year, you put $12,000 into a car. Oh, newsflash, you releasing that vehicle. You just put $12,000 into a vehicle. And because you signed this contract, because you signed this paper, that vehicle was not yours. You just invested $12,000 into something that you got zero return on. There's something about that I'll be perfectly honest, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. And that's why I say that what pisses me off even more so is that you'll have people that are in those situations and they be like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But look at what you're putting your money into. Like, you're putting your money into something that you know is not going to give you any type of return. Now, okay, if we want to be real, then let's be real. Let's take it all away. You know, you're leasing a car, but okay, you don't bear the burden of ownership. So you don't have to do any of the mechanical repairs to that car. You don't have to give that car oil change. You don't have to change the tires. But when that lease is up, you have two options. You leave or you renew it. Then you're going to renew the lease for another year. Maybe you might get lucky. The person says, oh, well, you can sign this lease and now you'll be paying $1,000 instead of the $12 that you were spending before. It still doesn't matter, because by the end of that year, by the end of that whole year, over the course of 12 months, you're still paying $12,000. You're paying, I said $12,000. You're paying $10,000 for a car, that you're not gonna get a return on. So at that 2-year mark, you done put $22,000 into a car that you don't own. So I'm like, to me, it's a colossal waste of money, and it's a big waste of time, because it's like the money that you're spending leasing out this car, you could have went and got your own car. You could have went and made payments to get your own car. And now you have the ability to sell that car if and when you choose that you don't want it. Or better yet, go get you a car. And in the meantime, maybe you can get someone out there. I don't know how you can do it on paper, but you can lease out your own car and have someone else lease that car. But guess what? They're putting money in your pocket. You have a car that someone else is driving, but they're paying for it. You see what I'm saying? And then guess what? You can take that a step further and be like, you know what? By the time your car has been fully paid off, because you've been leasing it for like 3 to 4 years, now you have a profit from leasing your car, and now you can sell the car if you want to. If the miles aren't too bad, you can sell the car, and maybe you might have anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000 to go get yourself another car. And maybe by that point you're like, you know what? Why don't I just get me like a a car that's not too old? Maybe the car will be around like 15. Now you spent 15, you pay the car outright, and then you start leasing that one, and you keep it going. And I'm like, why? The thing that frustrates me is because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that thinks like this, and it's like the same idea with a car. I don't know. There's some part of me that feels like you could do the same thing with a house. Now I understand that there are some serious stipulations when it comes down to houses. Like houses aren't cheap, okay? But then I understand that there are programs out there that will help you, that'll help you get a house. Like if you're a first-time homeowner, I'm talking like I work in real estate. What's up, Nitro? How we doing? I don't know if you can hear me, and I hope you can hear me. But I'm like, you have these things out there that are set in place to help you, try to help you own your own things. Like I was just like, I either I was walking, I was driving, I was somewhere, and I was just thinking, I'm like, what? I truly feel that if people had the right mindset, everyone around you could have a house. I really think that if enough people just put their heads together, more people could own houses than not. But people just don't think like that, man. They just don't think like that. And sometimes I feel like I'm in a world by myself. And it's frustrating because there are people out there that you want to help, and then it's like you can't because these same people have to help themselves. And it's just like where I work, I see it too. It's like you want to help these people, but they have to want to help themselves. And if they don't want to help themselves, then you can't be beating yourself up about it. It's just frustrating because like these are like real life issues that you have no choice. Well, you do have a choice to face. You can choose to face it, or you can choose to not face it and deal with whatever comes. All I'm saying is, for me, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to say that I have the ability to do these things and I can do them. And then on top of that, I want to be able to show that these things can be done. It's all in the mind, man. It's all in the mind. Half of it, at least half of it, if not 90%. I understand to say, 90% is showing up. And the other 10% is, I don't know, putting in work in hard work, dedication, blood, sweat, and tears, and like not giving up. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like sometimes I get a little irritated. Like I really do. I really do get irritated when I think about it. I just feel like I need the Hakuna Matata, man. I just know what I see in this world, dude. And I'm sick of it. I just want to be the best that I can be. I do. And I know it's possible, man. I know it's possible. I think that there are just people out there that are suffering, and it doesn't have to be that way. They don't have to be suffering the way that they do. But then again, sometimes it just boils down to the decisions that they make every single day. Like I remember I was having a conversation with someone and I was trying to tell them, I'm like, look, sometimes in life there are people out there that they want you to react. Like they're waiting for you to respond because they're waiting to take something from you, man. They're waiting to put you in a hot seat. They're waiting to make you look stupid. Like I use this funny term where I say, they're waiting to leave you bony, to leave you hungry. And all it takes is for you to act exactly in the way that they expect you to act and respond. Sometimes people do certain things because they know that it fits a certain narrative, and that's like that's what they'll do. And then I was talking to someone, he was like, what am I supposed to do, not respond? And I'm like, look, sometimes in life there are people in this world where they really want you to respond, like they're waiting for you to respond. A lot of people don't understand that because they don't come from areas where that's something that they have to be mindful of. Now, or better yet, even some people, they do come from situations where they know that they shouldn't, but they do it anyway. Growing up, I learned that like you're better off minding your business every step of the way. Like keep it moving, mind your business. Don't stick your nose into something that your cheeks can't get you out of, or it's more so don't put your mouth into something like that, right? Or is it don't put your butt into something that your mouth can't get you out of? Something like that. I don't know, man. I just know that sometimes I get these thoughts. About why. Not why, or why can it be different? because some people say, when people say, oh, it is the way this is the way that it is, or you don't have a choice. What you mean you don't have a choice? I question everything. And then the other one is like, how can it be different? Because sometimes like your word choice changes the way you see things. You be like, oh, this house cost $1 million. Like this house is $1 million. You be like, man, I can't afford a $1 million house. I can't afford that. If you say, I can't afford it, and then you shut yourself out. There's no point trying, because you already told yourself that you can't afford it. But if you change your words and you turn it into, how can I afford it? It opens up your brain to the possibilities, and your brain starts to think, how can we afford this? Loans, investments, having a bunch of smaller properties, selling those, and having a big enough investment to put a down payment on $1 million house. You see how like it starts to build the steps on how you can achieve these things. That's why I say, for me, like, I know the places that I've gone to, I know where I've been, and it's like look, even if it's a small house, someone can own a house, man. You can own a house. Or you know what? Forget the house. Take it away from the house. You can own your own property with your name on it, with the money that you put into it. And this little piece of land is yours. This is Grubby's residence. My name on it. I own this. There is so much power in saying that you own. That's like your room, right? Someone comes into your room. That's your area where you make the rules. If you were to tell someone, get out my room, they can't argue with you. So you take your room and you grow that, Now, from this being your room to this being your house, your land, this is mine. I paid for it. I own it. Nitro's like, actually tired because my cousin and I went to the dentist yesterday. You better take that nap, Nitro. You better take that nap. I just think that there is a lot of there's a lot of power in that. There's so much opportunity in that. I was listening to the radio the other day, 107.5, the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and they have this segment on the show in the morning. It's anywhere between 7:30 is usually the beginning, and then 8:30 is the second half, where they actually talk about it and break it down. There was this, they call them scarlet letters. So there was a scarlet letter about some woman complaining about a house that her and her husband, like her new husband, were gifted. And I mean gifted in every sense of the word. The house is fully paid for. All they had to do was move in. Newlyweds. All they had to do was move in a house. And she was complaining about the house. Oh, they're coming in there like they want to paint the walls. They're making all the decisions for my house. Hey, dum-dum, the house was gifted to you. You didn't have to put $1 down on it. Why don't you be grateful for a change? Right? And so Steve was saying that it just sounds like that she's being ungrateful. Not only was she gifted a house, but money that the couple might have been saving to put down on a house, they can now put down on another property, go live in that one, and they can rent out the house that they were gifted. And I'm like, dude, do you know how many people in the world wish that the people that raise them, the people that care for them, the people that love them were to gift them a place to stay free, did not have to pay for it. Do you know how many people out there in the world right now have nothing, living in a tent on the side of a bush? Like, do you have any idea how many people wish that they could say that somebody just gifted them a whole house that they don't have to pay for, man? All that couple would have had to do was pay for taxes. That's all I'm saying. But then the girl want to sit there and start complaining about, oh, I don't like that they're so involved in the house. They gave you the house. What you expect? You know, I don't care if the house was small or medium. You still got a house. You still got one. Is it like people being homeless? No, it's not. It's not that people are being homeless, but it's like they were a newly married couple. Like, they were married, and so like their parents, I think her fiance's parents gifted them a house, but she started to complain about it. And I'm like, yo, what person in their right mind would sit there and complain about something that they were given for free? Like, naturally, like, let's be real, yo. If somebody called me up and was like, Josh, I want you to have this house. Like, the only catch is, when I want to change the colors to the house, I can come in and change the colors as freely as I want. I'm like, do whatever you want. You can make this house pink from inside out if you want to. You just gifted me a house, someplace where I don't have to go out there and shop for a place to live. I've been gifted a house. I can live in this house rent free. All I have to do is pay taxes. And because I was saving money and somebody gifted me a house, I now have $40,000 extra in my pocket that I can pocket. I can go invest, or I can go buy another property with. Put a down payment on another property, and I can go rent that one out. Or if I really want to go draws to the wall, I can rent out both of these joints. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, like, you have people in this world that'll sit there and not see the opportunity and the benefit and the potential changes that they can make, like, to their lives. And I know I kind of just fell off of what that was, with that statement. I kind of messed it up, but like, the point is, I'm like, there are so many people out there in the world that have nothing. And when it's like, you have to be grateful, for a situation like that. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, I'm grateful for the things that I do have in this world. Like, I'm grateful for what I do have in my life. I'm also grateful for the things that I don't have. Xiaoxi, hi, welcome. You seem absolutely new to the channel. It's just a house. Newlyweds gotta start complaining, because I just feel like there's a portion where people are always complaining. Like, they're always complaining about, the things that they have. But like, Xiao, well, welcome. You're definitely more than welcome. I've never seen you in this channel before, picture and all. Like, welcome. How are you doing today? No, it's, I don't know, man. It's just, I once heard that those with privilege, people that, wait, what? How was that saying? Oh, privilege is invisible to those that have it. I'm taking it easy. Shao. Is it okay if I call you Chi? But I'm doing all right. I do feel a lot better. Now that I kind of got a lot off my brain. Gee, I have to ask you, since you're new to the channel, if you had to choose, call you Trig. I don't even know. If you had to choose one color that you could erase from the face of the planet, what color would it be? But it's like I'll think about a bright yellow, bright yellow? That's not banana yellow. Or are you talking neon yellow? Like ugly bright yellow. Bright yellow? Ugly bright yellow? I'm about to Google that. I typed in ugly bright level. Oh, that is ugly. It looks almost green. Ugly yellow. That actually is a color. Ew. I don't know about all that. I don't know, man. I don't know, Nitro, but it's like I'll be real, man. I think about things like that all the time, you know, all the time, and I end up running in circles, thinking about it, talking about it, trying to figure out what I want to do, and it's like, man, I just feel like if given the opportunity, if I have the chance to gain the knowledge and make certain moves so that I can do certain things for myself, it'd be amazing. I just know that, you know, since I'm like by myself in a sense, it's not the easiest thing. It would be a lot easier if you could do it with someone. But I think there's a lot of benefit to being able to do it by yourself, because you don't have to worry about the potential for someone to try to bite off of you and not grow with you. You know, I know that I have the mindset. I just need to do a little more studying. I need to, and don't get me wrong, I'm not waiting for like the perfect moment. I don't think that's the case. For me, I'm really paying attention to the way that things are right now, you know, and like I see people that, I remember this guy was telling me, he said, you know, like, I swear, like when I was younger, and then this had to be like before I was even born. It was, oh, you know, like when I was younger, I was making like $50,000 a year. I was living up in like, you know, the expensive part of town, driving a car that he wanted, did whatever he wanted to do, could buy whatever you want, and then you meet like these people now, and they don't have a fraction of what they used to have. And I'm like, what in the world happens from that moment to take away everything that they worked for? Like I know someone right now. He's the only person that I know of that owns a boat. I only know one person that owns a boat. Okay? And he was telling me the story that, like, if you thought that gas was expensive, try buying gas for a boat. We talking like $146 just to fill it up. I think either $146 just to get half. And I'm like, and I'm not really associated with that person. This is like an older gentleman. But like I would sit down and I would listen to his stories, and he would just tell me about, he has some funny stories too. He really does have funny stories. You know, I would just be listening to his stories, and he would be telling me about, you know, like all the places he's been, all of the people that, you know, all of the girls that he's been with. Like he's a funny guy, and like he really has some funny stories. And I'm like, it's so crazy that like I don't know too many people in my life like that. Like I don't, you know, like outside of that one person, outside of maybe 5 people that I could probably think of max, that have really put the work in and grinded, and they have a decent, you know, setup. Outside of those 5 people, everyone else is just trying to make it. My nose is itching, you know. And then it frustrates me that like it's just the choices that these people made compared to the choices that everyone else makes. It makes a big difference, you know. And it's like, I really just want to be in a place where I can call home, you know. Like, I know what I want to build. I know what I want to do in my life. I just know that these things take time. And I know I may come off as like, oh, well, you sound really impatient right now. I am an extremely patient type of person. But I know that you have to put the effort in too. You can be as patient as you want, but you have to be working. So I know that, and it's like the fact that the fact that people think that I'm crazy sometimes, or they think that what I say doesn't make sense. It's like, look, if only you could see the world the way that I see it. If only you could see that there is so much potential to like pull the things out of the world that you want. If only you could see the world the way that I see it, you would understand why I say the things that I say, why I talk the way that I talk. Because just as easily as you can mess your life up, you can easily, with time, effort, with the right tools, change your life for the better. I truly believe that. I truly believe that there isn't a person on the face of this planet that can get me to change my opinion on that, you know? That's just how I see it, man. That's really how I see it. Like, I'll take it a step further. The job that I used to have before the job that I have now, and I'm just using that job as an example, I would not have been employed at that job if I didn't have a degree. That's what I mean when I say it's possible. And then I find out a couple months later that the job that I worked at turned into a salary position, and the money was serious. And it was like, Josh, would you come back? And I'm like, sorry, not doing it. Because if I would have did that, I would have been chasing a dollar. And I just felt like, people didn't appreciate me then, so why would they appreciate me now? But outside of that, like, the job was okay. The job was all right. It's just sometimes it gets to the point where the job that you work isn't exactly appreciated. And because have we literally been here for an hour, and that whole thing played all the way through. You asked me a question you asked me a question get to ask you a question. You mean, do you get to ask me a question? Yeah, you can ask me a question if you want. In the meantime, let me find another soundtrack. If you can ask away. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I feel like if I was, it was like, Josh, if you were sitting in front of a room full of like 50 like, let's say, I have to answer your question. Well, okay, depending on what you ask me, I'll answer. I'm listening. But they would say, oh, like, Josh, what would you say to a room full of, how do I feel about the LGBTQ community? How do I feel about them? In what sense? How do I feel about them, like, in general? I've been asked this before, and one thing that people may not recognize about me is that, like, I can be brutally honest with people. I have a neutral stance on the community. I think that whatever you want to do in life, whatever you want to be, you have every right to sit there and be that. The only thing that I would say is that when it comes down to that, everything about that is extremely personal. So I feel like because it's personal, you should not broadcast that to the world, because it's personal. And when it comes down to you having to have a conversation about it, you won't want to have a conversation about it because it became personal. It's a super sensitive topic. So because it's a super sensitive topic, that's another reason why you shouldn't be broadcasting it, to the world. And the reason why I say that is because when you take something that is extremely personal like that and subjective, when you broadcast it to the world, everyone and their uncle can come in, make statements, make assumptions, and challenge your ways of thinking. And I feel like, since it's personal and because it means so much to so many people on various levels, if you are not willing enough to have conversations surrounding certain topics on how you feel, I don't think that should have been something that should have been magnified in a sense. And what I say magnified is that, like, prime example, like I said, in this world, you can choose whatever you want to. Like, if you want to be a rocket scientist, right? You can be a rocket scientist if you want, but then you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, there's just a certain way to go about it. Well, I am glad that you agree. It's just that, like that's what I said. Like, for me personally, it's like, look, I take a neutral stance on that because I know that like that situation is super personal for people. It's just when people start to have like debates and they start to have conversations about it, I don't know why, but it's just in the world that we live in today, people are just not ready to have those conversations. And just based on not social media, because I could care less about social media. I just think based off of conversations that people try to have, people just end up running in circles. They start to run in circles, and it's like, well, what's going on here? There's a certain part of it where it's like, there is a comprehension factor within that. It says, if it has, I would support, but if you rub it in the face, I will have a different opinion. And that's why I'm saying that, like, you have every right to do whatever you want to do in the world. You can be whatever you want to be. Like, like, if that whatever you choose to do is what you choose to do. But I just don't think that it should be it shouldn't be. What am I trying to say that it shouldn't be? It shouldn't be forced onto others. That's the thing. Because what ends up happening is people start to resent it. And they resent it because it's like, because it's always there. And sometimes the way that the conversations can go in under the umbrella of everything, right? Of that whole the whole concept, all of it gets to a point where I wonder if people are actually understanding the basis of what's going on. I think that people should have left it as, hey, if this is what you want to be, go ahead and be it. Fine. Right? That's what I think. Right? Now, almost everything in the world is up for debate nowadays. Like how people say that gray is not a color, it's a shade of a color. I think that gray is a color. I should be able to have my perspective. Someone else should be able to have their perspective. And we should be able to have a debate. The problem with the world today is everyone feels that no one can challenge their views. Yeah. I just think that, man, like to a certain extent, man, to a certain extent, labels just like I feel like labels create unintentionally. Labels create issues. It's unintentional. Like prime example. You know how there is no there is no inherent harm in and I don't want it to be political. I must admit, I don't see the need for all the labels and flags in a fight. See, the problem is with labels, what it ends up doing is it divides people more than it brings people together. Hello, Steel. What is happening? We're talking about like labels. Labels. We're talking about a little bit the LGBTQ community, only a little bit though, because like I said, I know that it's super personal because of what I seen and look, I know not too long ago, like cancel culture was serious. Cancel culture was serious, and the thing that bugs me about cancel culture is the fact that and like I said, in general, the issue that I started to see with cancel culture was the fact that you're going to sit there and try to destroy somebody's livelihood simply because they hurt your feelings. Yeah. And it's just like with comedians. Like, comedians are a prime example. Everything about what it means to be a comedian means that sometimes you might want to crack a joke on the audience, right? For someone in the audience to take offense to that and not understand that like a joke is a joke at the end of the day, even though some jokes can be quite harsh and some jokes can be a little distasteful, it's still a joke. Because when it comes down to comedy, I feel that comedy is one of the purest forms of free speech that we have left in this world. Sometimes it's dumb what people get upset about, but when you have a platform, you have higher responsibility. Yeah, but see, the funny thing about like the reason I feel like that's a little unrealistic, because the problem is, it seems as though no one has an issue with anyone saying anything unless they have a spotlight that's put on them. Ultimate hydrate, Steel, we're doing this right now. You want an ultimate hydrates? I got you. And then we're gonna get right back into this conversation. I got you, Steel. I can't believe you making me do this. But it's like, that's what I say, like, like for me, when it comes down to like, oh, because this person has a platform, like now, oh, it's an issue. It's an issue because this person has millions of eyes on them. Do I agree with that? Absolutely not. Because it wasn't a problem when no one knew who this person was. Now that this person has a spotlight on them, and sometimes the person they don't even do it intentionally. Sometimes what like you'll have like a hater and they'll dig into someone's past and bring up something that they said 5 years ago, and for some reason it holds weight to punish them today. That is weird to me. That is weird. People change, people grow, people are young. People say things when they're young, but as you get older, you become wiser, you learn. And then for you to try to penalize someone and deface like their livelihood that some people are feeding their families with because of something that they said years ago, or because y'all couldn't come to one understanding, that's not right. And because it's social media, like, people just get destroyed, man. They get destroyed by it. The same thing they tried to do to Dave Chappelle, but for some reason it didn't work. But I'm like, it's like, come on, like it. You like, the world is already super crazy as it is. Like, we have to find a way to be chill amongst it all. I just don't think that. I think that, like, there are conversations that people want to have, but I don't think that people are ready to have certain conversations because it gets too serious. It gets too sensitive. And then at some point the brain shuts down and it's like, well, I don't want to have this conversation anymore because you just come off as like, you don't understand. But then in order to understand somebody, you have to be having that. You have to have that talk. The only way to grow and understand what's going on, you gotta have that conversation, as uncomfortable as it may be. But it's just like I said, it's just, people they're not ready. I wish they were, but that's a person by person basis. That's what, like, I know for me, like, I've always taken like a neutral stance, and I've always been like careful with my words, because anyone can take anything that you say and try and twist it, and then it gets to the point where it's like it becomes a little difficult. Ultimate Hydra, here we go. Hey, still, you ready? You guys ready? This whole thing is basically full. Let's do this! Ah! Whew! Still, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I was absolutely ready for that, but then I drunk it. That hurt a little bit. It didn't hurt a little bit, but I'm like, because it was cool blue. My pronouns are he, her, and I'm bisexual. Okay. It's not. It really is nice to see you guys tune in right now, because it was only a little bit of people now, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. So how we doing, Steel? How we doing? What kind of conversations? Conversations that, like debates, Steel. Like there are like just certain conversations that people don't want to have within the LGBTQ community, but it's like they want to have the conversations, but I just don't think that they're ready to have the conversations in every extent or in every realm that conversation can go. It's like, let's have a conversation and only have it go this way. But when you're talking with people that don't necessarily agree with you, that conversation can just spread out and go into different realms and different routes. And I just don't think that people that are not mature enough and ready enough to have conversations, I don't think that's something that, I don't think they're ready for that. But then you have like podcasts, you have debates, you have political things. I really, there's a part of me that feels like I don't think it should have ever became political. I don't think that should have, it comes off as like it's political now. I mean, on the extreme, and there are people who want to have endless debates about if certain people deserve to exist, and that to me, people's identity isn't politics. That's what I'm saying. Like, it should have never been that way. Because like I said, like for me, I'm like, that's personal. That's a you thing. And since it's a you thing and it's personal, do you really want the whole world shining eyes on it and like, because like to be like prime example, like still, you play games. I play games too. Like people be like, oh, I don't understand gamers, like gamers, like what's the point? I could care less how you feel about it, because that's me, like that's me. And then usually there's people on the outside looking in that have the most to say. And I was like, okay, well, if you want to have this conversation, then we can have the conversation, Even though like being a gamer and LGBTQ are two different things. Like they're in two different realms. The connection or the analogy that I was trying to make is a simple fact that like because it's I feel like in that realm, that's, actually, now that I think about it, that might not have been the best example, because I still can't tie it to what I'm trying to say. But like, it's personal, okay? It's sensitive. And I really don't think that, I think that I'm not saying that it was a mistake, but I feel like it hit like a realm that people weren't really ready for. Till this day, I think people are slowly getting used to it. But you said Mr. Orange. Well, let me read some of these messages. It says, nice. In the words of George Michael, it's so hard to love when there's so much to hate. Eh. Eh. Are pronouns important or are they unnecessary? The question is, Mr. Orange, I want to know, who are you asking? I'm watching NBA basketball. Sorry, I was going playing cards. Do your thing. I'm gonna. Caden is goofy. Pronouns. Well, for Chi, pronouns are important to Chi. It's funny how everyone else in Grub are talking about life problems and stuff, and I'm being retarded. Caden, you're fine. Still says, when my nibbling says he doesn't know what pronouns are, I don't see an issue with that. He's young, he's thinking, he's learning. But I'm saying he might say he doesn't care, but I know it affects him. You think so still? And then someone wants to give him a problem for using super indifferent. People mistake me for a guy online all the time, so sending me pronouns don't matter, but that doesn't seem to be the experience of others. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that I'll be true. I'll be honest, and I think what I can say is that I think that the reason why. Let me see what everyone else is saying first, and the reason why I'll read that, and then I'll give you the reason why. It's funny everyone else. Okay, pronouns important because I can't remember all of my friends' names due to how hard it is to pronounce. Nitro's goofy. Bro, can I identify as an attack helicopter? You can identify whatever you want. Oh, there are no bisexual flags on my keyboard on mobile. Cool. Whatever floats your boat is cool with me as long as you're a good human being. I will always accept a good human being. Yeah, here's the thing. Like for me, like, because I'm thinking about what Steele said. It says I don't see an issue with that. I'm thinking, learning. Just flush and wash your hands. See, my thing is this. It wasn't. I don't think that, like before everything, it wasn't a thing. Like the pronouns weren't a thing. Like back when you were in grammar school and you were learning that you were learning how to address people. It was like he, this is he, this is him, this is she. And when you're talking to her, then you respond accordingly. I just think that it wasn't an issue before, but it became an issue. Yeah, he said autism wasn't a thing a long time ago either, but they were certainly autistic people. Not the best comparison, but the idea stands. I suppose still there was that doctor who posed as a male their entire life. And other example. I don't know. I just think that it became an issue over time. It became a serious issue over time. It wasn't. I just don't think that it was an issue before. Only with the rise with social media blowing up the way that it did, and people posting like how they feel, and then there's this thing that some people like to say is like, oh, my truth, and so many things get so much attention. TikTok doesn't make it any better. They confuse me a bit as it is plural, meaning more than one. Look, all of that stuff you said, but is it hurting anyone? Even if it's a fat, I honestly wouldn't care. That's what I don't. It's physically like words don't hold the same amount of weight as someone body slamming you. Okay, like would you rather someone? Well, it's not even a matter of would you rather. It's just that like the world that we live in today. I understand. That is one way to look at it. I just think that, at the end of the day, if people are honest, I mean, people are more than capable of being honest, but I guess honesty means different things to different people. Can you ever be 100% honest in every sense of the word? No, because even I lie, and I lie because it's funny. People ask me how old I am all the time. I tell them 98. That's clearly a lie. I'm actually 94. Like I lie all the time, but I do it because it's fun, it's funny, and no one really needs to know. Still, I'm actually 115 years old. Thank you very much. Says this does confuse me a bit, as it's plural, meaning more than one, but I have a 13-year-old and she is teaching me. Yeah, I just think that I don't know about that one, Mr. Orange. I don't know, man. Because the world that we live in today, it's hard to hide it. It's hard to hide those conversations, like it's hard to hide those conversations from people, at least nowadays. Because like, how like you'll watch podcasts on certain situations, not certain situations, but certain genres, right? Like, or like a topic. It's not even genre, it's more like a topic of discussion. Like that's what they're talking about. You'll see the other podcasts of like parents. Like you'll see like a parents podcast or like a video, and they say, like, they share their views. And more often than not, if you sat down and listened to the things that they say, you be thinking about it and you're like, you know what, I agree with that. But you can agree with someone all while not hating another, and you can agree with someone without deeming someone else that you don't agree with as your enemy. That is a real thing. Like, that's possible. I hate this song. I don't like it too much. That song just is plain goofy. I don't like it. Give me that best of synthwave.
Round one, fight.
What kind of gym is this? It says, I will fight for my right to hate. If you suck, you suck. Like, for me personally, I'll just be looking at it like, I don't be caring, because it's like for me still, it'll be like this. If I really don't agree with someone, as long as they aren't, if they're being chill about it, then I'm cool. But there are some things out there that absolutely irritate me, because I'm like, okay, like, it almost seems like, the person might be doing a little too much sometimes. I don't really like that, Unfortunately, still, if someone isn't actively like harming another person, or if it doesn't look like it's blatant that they're trying to harm someone, do you know how often people be getting away with things for a long time? I was like, oh, I thought you saw this coming. I was like, dude, I don't begin it. Certain authors are causing real harm intentionally. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Not everyone has to be perfect, and that includes me. See, newsflash, but still, I know you know this, but newsflash, to social media, no one's perfect. But the thing that irritates me is the simple fact that when it comes down to social media, and as you said before, people be having like the spotlight on them, and they have like millions of people that watch their content. All of the people that watch them expect for these people to be perfect, and they don't. It never crossed their mind that, oh, broski just had bubble guts 2 weeks ago. Oh, when this man when this guy or when this girl takes a number 2 in the toilet, she she blows the bathroom up too, and it smells. It certainly doesn't smell like flowers. It just bugs me that like they look at them with like these googly eyes, and they swear that they're like the most perfect beings on the planet, that they can't do nothing wrong. So when the day comes that they finally do something wrong, they get the ultimate repercussions for that. Oh, because you're on social media, you should be more wise about what you do and say. Okay, but what if the person is young and now they got their 7 seconds of fame, and they're super famous now? Well, guess what, Goofy? This person became famous overnight. What do you expect? You expect for them to be the Golden Globe? You expect them to be what? You expect them to be like your savior's left-hand man? Perfection incarnate? It be bugging me. It really be bugging me. Cause I'm like, you can't expect that of no one. No one's perfect. You know? There is like you know, if you're not perfect, how can you expect for someone that you look up to be this perfect being? Even a priest is a sinner. Even a teacher still needs to learn. You know, like even a teacher can be taught. You know? A student can be a teacher can be a student. Nothing's perfect. There aren't any rules towards being perfect, because you can't be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect. You know, like you're still prone to sickness like everyone else. When you drink a carbonated drink, you burp. When you wake up in the morning, your breath is rocking. You're not perfect. So people, oh my god, I idolize this person. Like, oh my god, this person touched my hand. And I'm like, man, chill with all that. "14, 15 in May. I'm honest about my age." The funny thing is, no one really has to. I mean, listen. Like, it makes sense to be, I get that. You know, age is important. It is. Don't go around lying to someone if it really means something. Like if there are potentially serious consequences that follow by you lying about your age, you might want to be honest about that. You know, like you might want to be honest with that. The reason why I say that I don't share my age, because like I don't have to. Like I don't have to. It is of no relevance. You know? It says the discomfort I go through for someone pointing out I was wrong is nothing compared to the pain someone goes through who lives in a world who tells them they're yeah, I see. It says, what? Yeah, don't lie about being, yeah, like in that case, no, don't do that. You know, there was a record recording. I'd agree. I could say I didn't know any better. But that doesn't matter. What matters is I know better now. Yeah, it's just the problem is that so many people get stuck on that, or oh, you should have known better the whole time. Like, no, that's unrealistic. Says Grub is 9. Grub, why is your age of no relevance? We just want to know your age. Where you're for when? This shouldn't be an issue. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I am old. 198 years old. I'm just saying, like I said, I lie about it because it's funny. It's funny. And actually what really got me starting it was the job that I used to work at. They used to take guesses. And so it got to the point where like they would guess, they were like, and then I got the idea. I'm like, never tell them. So it's all in fun, you know. It's all in fun. Like I don't care. Like I'm not ashamed of you know, of my age. But I also understand that when it comes down to social media, or when it comes down to internet, you know, or when it comes down to you as a person, you pick and choose what you do and do not want to share, you know. But like I said, I do it because it's funny, and it is funny. I think like my old job, people used to get so frustrated. They'll say, Josh, just tell us. I'm not telling you nothing. So then they would start to assume that, you know what, I feel like Josh is a 98-year-old guy in a young person's body. And I'm like, you never know. Looks can be deceiving. And then, you know, you really just have fun with it, man. Like, you have fun with it. Like, be respectful. Understand that boundaries are real, and you need to respect the boundaries and personal space of everyone else. Be chill, crack some jokes, man. You have to go feed my dogs. Oh. It's like being too curious about something that can lead to consequences. Whatever do you mean, Nitro? Well, you still don't get it. You still don't get it. You have to understand that I really don't care. My cousin and I usually make this one funny. Make this one funny thing with ages where we switch the numbers like this. Like, come on now. You said, after 24, it's all the same. Then that frontal lobe hit you. Okay, if I actually guess, you're 22. But if you were 26, I wouldn't be surprised either. Nah, you have a young jawline, 22. Still, why are you staring at my chin? You better chill. Still, I wouldn't have thought that that you were. I wouldn't have thought that you were that you were in your prime. Still in your. Look at these. Still, don't worry. I know you're lying. Still, I know you're lying. I know. Grub steal. Steal? No, you goofy. 1992? Huh. That makes me wonder, what year did Resident Evil come out? Resident Evil 1. They better not be remaking Resident Evil 1, man. It's not that I'm getting 1996. Resident Evil came out in 1996. Whoa. Oh, nasty. What is this? Doom 64 came out March 31st, 1997. Gabe, how we going? How we going? How we doing? I was born at 12:30. Is that 12:32 or 10:32? On a Friday. 9.5 pounds. Fat, baby. Interesting. Still was like, I'm old. Still, you're not old. All those what was that thing that you that sport that you participate in? You said it's like what you call it? Like some kind of medieval sport? It's not medieval, but it's more like gladiators. I don't know, but no one imagines their adult life. I mean, it's always a possibility. Still, it's always a possibility. I mean, but to a certain extent, I can't agree. I can't agree with that. But then at the same time, for me, I ponder a lot because more often than not, there are older people that are around me, and I listen to their stories all the time, you know, and they tell me like the places that they've been to, the things they've done, the jobs that they used to have. And like back then, you know, like when I think about how strong the dollar was, I know that like $50,000 back then had to be like $70,000 today. Well, you can keep guessing. I'm going to say no at the end of the day. I'm trying to tell you, I really don't care. I really don't care, and I'm not going to answer you. It's that simple. It says my parents bought a house for 40K. That's what I'm saying. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said the same thing to me. She said, "Oh, $40,000. You could get a house with $40,000." But she was like, "Oh, but then again, this was 19 years ago. Who was making that kind of money that long ago? You know?" And that's what I'm saying. Like the dollar now, it's so crazy that you would need almost double the money now to get the same house that you could have gotten back then for that money, you know? The amount of money that you need to get a house now, you could have bought 2 houses back then. Or you could have bought a house, fully paid it off, and then sold it. But it don't work that way now. It don't work that way. I don't know if it's because inflation. I don't know if because, you know, technology has advanced and there are more jobs, so more people are making money, which means more people have money, which means the value of said dollar goes down because more people have coins. Economics 101, you know? And it's like, you know, like, man, so I was watching some video the other day, and the guy was like, oh, you know, it's funny how the bank only has but so much money in the bank, and you know, like the government prints so much money. Can you imagine if the government was to print money and put that money in your hands? Would that money have value because they print it? It's all paper at the end of the day. It's all paper at the end of the day. I just think that, you know, what ends up making it valuable is how much does the majority have? Because now that I think about it, if everyone in the world became a millionaire tomorrow, there would be no more millionaires. Do you see how money and economics work? Billionaires would be millionaires. I think the average American has like $1,500 in their savings. The average? Really? I gotta Google that. The average savings account balance in the United States was $41,000 in 2019, while the median account balance across the country was only $5,300. The average and median balance vary depending on age, with older generations having more savings. Now, one thing that we have to know is that the reason why that average is so high is because you have so many people that have a little bit, and then you have those people that have a lot. So what ends up happening is that ends up bolstering the average, you know. But the median is actually the true average, because yeah, still, you know still, because the median is more people have that than the average. There are more people that have the median. Or would it be mode? Would it be mode? Grub, your voice is so relaxing. This man is goofy. Still says, right. I literally work in finance. Asmer. Asmer. Steel. If you look behind you, Steel, you can see the candles. You can see that bag of snacks on your left that you haven't finished eating yet. And you can see that drink on your table that needs refilling. Go refill your snacks, Steel. Refill those snacks. See, I know what I'm talking about. I know I'm goofy. I need to change from being goofy. No, I mean, like, it's cool, but nah, you there's some things you're gonna have to chill with. You gotta chill with that. My candles are almost dead. Still, you know what's funny? I went and got myself my own candle. The only reason I can't show it on camera is because ain't no free advertising over here. Not unless they want to sponsor me. Just saying. Mine are stick candles, non-label. Yeah, I have one candle that's sort of labeled. Grub, what's Steel's Twitch so I can follow her? I don't know if I even want you to follow Steel. If you're just gonna bother Steel as much as you bother me. Will. I'm scary. It says, I got more goth in the mail and I need to try them on too. Don't follow Steel, she bites. If you want to follow Steel on Twitch, if you type in Steel Tooth Saber, you will find Steel. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. Now, Steel, the only reason why I accept it from you is because you're Steel. And you be going crazy on your own stream. So like I'm cool with it. Like the only rule that I ever had when it came down to like anyone in the chat, like, you know, like getting a little too crazy, is as long as it wasn't directed towards each other, you can say what you can kind of say whatever you want. Still, you're fine. You're fine, Still. It's your chat. I need to respect that. Well, Still, see, the only way to get out of the hot seat, you just gotta get me snacks. And I do plan on playing Gang Beast this week. Yeah, Nitro, that wasn't me. Steel said that. Steel said that. I'll eat this. You playing with? You mean like who I'm playing with? Steel, what you trying to say? What you trying to say, Steel? Don't act like I don't know where you stream. Don't act like I don't know, Steel. What's whose name? What's whose name? I'm not telling you nothing. I don't know who you talking about. I don't know who you talking about. Ezekiel. I thought you were talking about someone else, like a potential viewer that isn't here tonight. What is this soundtrack? What is this, like Double Dragon? This says the best synthwave video game remixes. Yeah, I don't see her tonight. Nah, a certain someone usually doesn't tune in to our Just Chatting streams. I remember the last time a certain person tuned in, we had snacks and I had a song that I was working on, by the way. How we doing, Gabe? I see you. Gabe, you know I see you. Y'all be good. Or don't. I'm not your mom. Unless you're... Mommy? I don't know, Still. I don't know. Snacks. can't control, to not 007. I like how this is going. Oh man. But yeah, you know. What was I talking about like just before? Wine, snacks. Oh yeah, yeah. Like funds would be goofy, you know. That's what, like, the thing that bugs me the most when it comes down to money is like you have these companies that when they look at what you have, they really look at, oh, let me look at your gross. You act like I'm seeing that money. I'm not seeing that money, man. Like, even if somebody was making $100,000 a year, oh, your gross is $100,000 a year. On average, he might only be seeing 80 of that. If he's lucky, he might only see $80,000 a year in his pocket. So for you to sit there and say, oh, this person makes $100,000 a year, so I'm going to charge him this price based on what he makes a year, that's not accurate, because you're not going off of his net. You're not going off of what he's actually spending, what he actually sees in his hand. You're not going off of that. And I understand that, like, the world is built like that, and I guess for the longest time ever it's been that way. But I swear, I feel like if it was up to me and I had the ability to control the numbers, I would not go off of what somebody makes in a year, because once you take out the taxes, whatever they have left is what they have to spend. That's what they have to save. That's what they go off of. So I'm like, it's kind of like an unrealistic number, you know? Like, you can't just attach a number to somebody's name like that's what they're seeing. Like the old job that I used to work at, if you were to look at the numbers, I think the job said that, oh, I was making like what, maybe $30,000 a year or something like that. Anywhere, what, 30 to 32, something like that, maybe 36, right? But my checks don't reflect that at all. Like, I'm not seeing that. I'm really not. And in all actuality, when the taxes come out and then you get your net, I kid you not, it may be anywhere between 24 to maybe 24 to 24, and if I'm lucky, 28, maybe 30. That's how much I was seeing a year. But that extra, like, you're not seeing all of that. Like, you're not seeing it. You know, it be bugging me. I swear it be bugging me. And people be like, well, that's just the way it is. It shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't be that way. Because you're making it seem like somebody is making more money than what they're actually seeing. If they're not seeing it, then don't charge them. Like, you know, people just be extra, period. They be extra for no reason. I don't really appreciate that. But it's cool. I'm just looking at this little, oh, Shotty Bubati. If you ever look up video game remixes on YouTube, it plays these different video games. Like, it'll play a soundtrack and it'll be playing like the game. Oh. At the bottom, I don't know what this game is called. Yeah, but like my eyes are like taped to the screen a little bit. I got the limited edition wrench. From what? Where'd you get that from? Gabe says, I got the limited edition. Straight limited editions, Gabe. 100%. Shati Bobati. I almost can't take my hands off the screen. I mean, eyes off the screen. I wrote a 1,000-word essay on camel spiders. Let me know if you like it. Read the whole thing. You're not about to post it in the chat, are you? Limited edition wrench. I got the Pro GD wrench. Nitro's goofy. Now, is Nitro lying? No, he's not. Nitro has the limited edition Nitro wrench. I didn't even know those existed. I don't know, man. Like, there are just things about you know, like economics and like just the way that the world works that it infuriates me, man. Cause like people are going off of like you know, like these numbers. Gross. To go off of gross is gross. Going off of my gross salary, that's gross in and of itself. Cause they'll sit there and say something like, oh, you make $80,000 a year, but you're not seeing it. You might only see 60. 63 if you're lucky. Where's that? Where's the other 27 going? Where's that going? No, 17. Where's that going? Ain't going to you. Taxes. You said there's too many words. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen a Campbell. You said it won't let me. Well, you can only find them in deserts. A camel spider is non-venomous. It can leave a deep wound, though. Dirty. That's nasty. Hit it. Dirty. Go back. Bring it back. I want to hear it again. Oh. One more time. Okay. Hit it. That is nasty. That's so nasty. I'm gonna listen to it again. I'm gonna make someone read this whole thing. Yeah. Okay. I like that. I think I had a 30 to 40 something page essay that I turned into a diary, but it got deleted due to me not having access to my high school account. I can remake it eventually. Believe it or not, I actually have something that I've been working on that I've been writing for a long time, and like, truth be told, I haven't written in it because one thing that I didn't want to do was I didn't want to write anytime that my emotions were not at its like its medium, you know, like anytime that I felt like, oh, I'm about to just write just based on how I feel, because it kind of turns into a diary. That I didn't want to do. I didn't want to write something because I felt like if I were to write with that frame in mind, it would come out as a diary and not as something that I was actually trying to put some time into. So I literally have this piece that I've been working on, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna check to see how many chapters I actually wrote. I'll let you guys know right now. So the title of it is called The Offspring's Rebellion. Keep moving. I have a prologue. I have, where's chapter 1 though? Because the chapters are actually pretty short. So I'll find one chapter that Well, that chapter is actually pretty. This chapter is long. Uh. 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 Y'all ready to I can actually read something to y'all real quick. I'll read something. It's like a chapter 3. Okay, so I'll read something real quick. So I have it as chapter 3 says to protect and balance. Soon after I decided to treat those I care about with respect, I first needed to change my habits. I knew who I used to be. I thought about my past every day and sought to correct my mistakes. My junior year in high school was the start of the new me. And no, a New Year's resolution had nothing to do with it. My family had to come first. I began teaching myself how to stay positive. Not that the act was impossible. However, the implementation of it, sometimes I use big words for no reason. However, the implementation of it, I should change that to the implement part. The apply it, or no, the implementation of it, implementing it. What? That sentence doesn't even make sense now that I think about it. However, it says not that the act was impossible. However, the implementation of it to a degree. What? That don't even make sense. Get rid of that sentence. Sentence is stupid. So, proofreading right here. It says my family had to become first. I began teaching myself how to stay positive. Not that the act was impossible. I wasn't trying to change my mom and my brother. I was going to change the family in every aspect of the word. Body and mind. No longer was I going to sit around and let my uncles and aunts offer their advice on what the sons of my mother should do. They don't live with us. I sought to cut out the I can't, I won't, and just wanted to show my mom that we can do whatever we decide to do. Sure, you may need money to get it done. However, my view on money and my mother's view on money conflicted with each other. Let me fix that. Conflicted with each other. My mother hated debt. She still does. She will refuse to take a loan and even buy merchandise online. She did not want her information out there and feared that someone would take her info. I was and am the exact opposite. I understood early on that in order for me to go to college, I would have to take out a loan. And I knew that the road to success involved action that I would have to take. I was unrelenting in my attitude and my approach. My mother was the avoiding type and just didn't have the desire to do what she wanted to do. What I wanted her to do. I put that in parentheses. Usually, like, sometimes I'll say something, and do you know how, like, sometimes you have these artists where they'll have something in parentheses kind of explaining a statement before? So that's what that was. Continue. As a result, I decided that I would do everything I wanted to do. I wouldn't make an excuse. I would accomplish my goals and show her that I could do the same. Money meant nothing to me. I had a bigger picture to paint. I had no choice but to strive for excellence in my own way. The first thing that I had to do was graduate from high school. During my second year in high school, I had to take an exam called the HESAA. It was a mandatory exam that everyone had to pass in order to graduate from high school. I was happy to find out that I passed it on my first attempt. I was happy to find out that I passed it on my first attempt. I was in the hallway near my locker when my guidance counselor delivered the news. With the bigger fish fried, the next thing that I had to do was take a college exam to gauge which universities I could get accepted to. My first and only choice for as long as I could define what college meant was Yale University. I had gone to the college tour for Yale in Connecticut. Although it was a prestigious school, rumor had it that Ivy League schools... No, what is it? Rumor had it that Ivy League schools were given that distinction because ivy grew on the side of the buildings. Regardless, for years, Yale was the only school that I wanted to go to. I told myself that I would get in with a GPA of 3.2. I was wrong. I had taken my PSAT, and soon after I had to sit up. No, I had taken my PSAT, and soon after I had to sit for a 3.5-hour SAT exam for college. I managed to score well enough to get into PhilU, also known as Philadelphia University. No one thought I could get accepted there. Numbers didn't mean a damn thing to me. If I wanted to apply to a place, I did. I applied to 60 colleges all over the country. However, I settled close to home. I wanted to be close enough to home, but far away enough that it gave me a new start. I ended up going to a university. Oh, why is that capital? I ended up going to a university in a neighboring city, away from old friends and my past. Dirty. During this time, I was. Oh, this song is dirty. During this time, I was still. Hold on, bum bum bum. We're gonna skip that part. Bum bum. All right. It says. This was just the energy I said that I was not going to deal with going into college. Upon my freshman year in college, I took my first breath. That first breath was bitter because I had just lost my father a couple of weeks before my birthday. The first 2 months of college were the loneliest time in my life. At least, I can't remember the last time I had ever been that lonely prior. I sought to get away from my past. My high school experiences would not haunt me in college. Or I should say my high school experiences will haunt me no more. I left everyone I knew, my old friends, my best friend, everyone. What was I supposed to do? I had been traumatized and I just couldn't take the pain anymore. Hence my first 2 weeks of college was lonely. Actually, I feel like get rid of that sentence. That sentence is just repeating myself. I sat on the bench in the rain and I thought about my father. I was listening to a song from a video game I had played numerous times. Devil May Cry 4. I looked up to the gray sky and I wondered what my father was trying to teach me just before he died. One of the things that I will always remember my father saying to me was, "One day you'll learn." I still don't know what he meant by that. I sat there looking up at the clouds, lost in thought. People didn't know my story. They didn't care to know. Who the hell was I? Some random guy sitting on a bench in the rain with no umbrella? A security guard came up to me and asked me, "Hey, it's raining. Are you alright, son?" I replied, "Yes, I am. I'm just thinking. Cooling off." The man responds, "But it's raining out." I answered, "It's only a light drizzle." The guy laughs and walks away. I felt better, seeing that someone had spoken to me. A few weeks later, I had found my home away from home. The student center had a game room on the 4th floor, and pretty soon I had found myself spending a lot of time there. I even made a pretty big group of friends. After all, who doesn't like video games? Pass me the controller, please! My transition into college was easy. Although I had lost my father just a year before and decided to become a single guy early November the same year. Actually, I feel like that this right here, that's a big run-on sentence. There's no reason for that to be there. Yep, although I had just lost my father a year before, I declared my major. I scheduled my classes with help from a really nice counselor, and I did what I could to succeed. Later, my grades began to fall, and I remember something. The phrase that I thought about in the rain that day. I eventually learned that I get my stubborn attitude from my father. Needless to say, my father didn't like too many people touching him. He was a happy guy. Oh, I should say, however, he was a happy guy. Actually, no. Touching him. He was still a happy guy. No, he was a happy guy nonetheless. I decided to try to learn what he meant by his words. I swallowed my pride and I changed my major to psychology. In the beginning, I promise you, I felt as if I had given up on myself by changing my major from biology to psychology. When I was little, I wanted to be a scientist. I studied the planets and I loved Liberty Science Center field trips. Imagine how I felt when I told them to change my major. I thought I had given up. However, I saw that I wasn't doing well. I was placed on academic probation, and my GPA for the semester was below a 2.0. My life was on the line. Everything that I had worked for was on the line. Why do I see? You see this part where I say everything twice? Or just, I'll say something and say it differently? I thought I had given up. However, I saw that I wasn't doing well. A change had to be made. No. I needed to adapt, and soon. I can erase that. Erase that. Everything that I had worked for was on the line. My college career was in jeopardy because of my unyielding attitude. Immediately, I saw changes in my behavior, my thought process, and my grades. You see how long this is? Dang! My junior year, I saw my grades improve. I saw my attitude improve. And for once, I was learning. I was learning how to become a better me. Instead of hoping, I was discovering how to take calculated steps. I was actually putting forth the effort and seeing progression. At least, I was moving in the right direction for the first time in my entire college career. I had friends that wouldn't leave me alone. I had a place that I could go to and relax. And before I knew it, I had become a senior. I had spent so much time trying to reach senior status. Nah, I don't like that last sentence. That last sentence is pretty stupid. Trying to reach senior status. That it seems to have happened faster than I thought. Something like that. I don't know. Mr. B, please come see me. Oh, this is where it gets crazy. Mr. B, please come see me. Your tag grant has been canceled and you are responsible for the remainder of this semester's balance. I was shocked. I thought that I had fought hard, failed classes, repeated classes, and earned my right to become a senior. I walked to class and took breaths of fresh air for the very first time. I go home that day. It was cool outside and I was smiling. I check my emails and I see that. And I see a balance of $5,000 on my account. I was working at FedEx, bringing home $187 a week. I was working part-time. And with such a low income, it would take me years to get back to school with a balance so massive. And that's a real story too. I didn't know what to do. I went to school the next day and my financial aid advisor told me that I had maxed out on my loans. There wasn't any way for me to get more money from the school. Losing my tag grant meant that I had to pay out of pocket for the remainder of the year. And that was only my first semester as a senior. I was stressed out mentally. I was at the end. Like, I was literally at the end. But when I come so close to the end, I run into... like, me saying I was literally close to the end was me talking, not me reading. It says, I was working at FedEx, bringing home... Yeah, I read that. It says, I was at the end. Why when I come so close to the end, I run into an obstacle that I couldn't best alone? I thought about taking a bank loan. However, I didn't own a credit card. I couldn't ask my family for anything because my aunts and uncles never went to college themselves. Besides, why would they give me $5,000, let alone help me with payments? I calculated the days and the hours. If I could just work overtime and pick up an extra work day in New York, where my mom's dude, I may have a chance to pay the balance. Pretty soon, my mind couldn't fathom working that hard. I had done the math. FedEx hated their workers doing overtime. Many companies do not like workers that work past a certain amount of hours. I found out after days of working out the numbers that FedEx will only pay just under $2,500. I would never have enough money. Time was running short and a restriction was placed on my account. I was locked out of the system and couldn't register for my last set of courses to graduate. So that was chapter 3. Now I know that chapter 3 says to protect and balance. It makes me wonder if I should change it. But that was like chapter 3. Let me update that because I did change it a little bit. But what I really meant to check was the amount of chapters that I wrote here. I've written 15 chapters of just me writing. And I'll put an epilogue in there for us gamers. Let me read the chat real quick. Rico popped in. Nitro says right now I have a nearly 2,000 word rant that I'm gonna record when I get back in June, along with so many new ideas for content. Just got done brushing my teeth. Speaking of my teeth, I went to the dentist yesterday to clean and fix my tooth because there are 2 teeth that had cavities. That's why I'm tired this morning. Yeah, they probably hit you with the sleepy weepy gas. So the epilogue, it says, let me mute this real quick. Should I mute it? Nah. The epilogue says, I don't know where I'm going, but I know I must try to become a respectable and successful human being. I want to be the man that my father will never see. I want to be the son that none may suspect they could see. There are many that don't believe in me, but I believe in me. I was born into a world of struggle, and I have little to show for it. I'm grateful still, and I am actively pursuing my happiness. I am observant enough to see the damage that idle hands causes on the lives of people. I am both wise and knowledgeable enough to see that I have a choice. If I want to learn and grow my income potential, then I will learn a skill. Go to school. Can't afford it? Who cares? I couldn't afford it in the first place. Once I have the skill, now I can hopefully get the job and pay the bill. Try and fail and keep trying. Don't give up. There are thousands of people that wish they had your life. Don't take your life for granted. You may be born with nothing, and that can change. And at the very end, I wanted to tell an ever-evolving story. If faith and fortune are on my side, that is. I wanted to write something that people could follow. I probably failed at that. I wanted to publish a book and have someone read it once. As long as I am trying, learning, and being wise with time, failure will not keep me. I didn't end up with $60,000 of student loan debt to end up struggling through life for free. I will be successful. For once in my life, I will be successful. I wrote this book to connect with you, a nobody like me, whom believes he can be somebody. I've been betrayed, laughed at, and mocked. Life is hard, but guess what? Life can be harder, and all it takes is to not care enough. One thing that the poor and rich have in common: failure. What separates the rich from the poor? Perception of choice. What are you telling yourself? And is it based in truth? Is that just? Or is that just what you tell yourself? Spoken by the one and only Sam of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. And that was like the very end of like what I wrote, but everything in the middle I really have to hone and fix. But I want to publish it. I would need to fix it up first. It says, Nitro says, nah, I was awake, just closing my eyes and not get splashed by water. Do you want to hear a story? But every time you have to say, I am... Do you want to hear a story? But every time you have to say, man, after, so I know to go to the next part. Chi, you got jokes. What is this random story? It said it's not a trick. Sounds like a trick to me. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna say that. I think I'm gonna just say, go on. Next part. I know this story. I know this story. You better think again, amigo. Think again. Nah, I don't trust nothing. Let me show you just how much I don't trust nothing. Are you saying something that's worthless? I don't trust nothing. You can't be trusted, yeah. Some people you just can't talk to. Eat this! I like that. I was just looking at it. Well, you know what? Get someone else. A guy meets this chick at a bar. He probably takes her home. And at the end of it, she says, I'm a guy. Game over. Game over. Resident Evil. Failure. It's 9:34. So let me go over what we're going to be playing this weekend. This weekend we have I do want to play Gang Beast. I think that game would be funny if we had more people playing it, but I'll try to play that. I do want to play Night. There's this game called Night with the Consumer, something like that. I want to play that Saturday. That's really what I want to play Saturday, so we're probably going to play that Saturday. As far as the game that we're going to be playing Saturday morning, I got to think about it. But yeah, like right now we're trying to figure out what games we're going to be playing, you know? Because when you end up playing everything, you know what game I wouldn't mind revisiting? I would not mind revisiting Five Nights at the Krusty Krab Chapter 3. We dominated that game from start to finish. I annihilated that game, dude. I would not mind revisiting that game. I swear I wouldn't. That game was fun. That game was actually fun. I may go back to it. But you know, the sad thing about when I played that game, I did not highlight it. So it's not in my setting. I mean, it's not on the front page of Twitch. I would have to play the game again if I want to highlight that stream and just have it just be there. Then again, there's a certain someone that never got a chance to watch us play it. That I would like them to get a chance to watch us play it, you know. So what I will do, I'm gonna put a poll up, and I'm going to start a poll, and the poll is gonna say, do you guys want us to revisit Five Nights at the Krusty Krab Chapter 3? And if we do, we'll knock it out in one stream. And this will be for either Saturday or Sunday. So let's see how many votes you guys will get in there. 20 votes by Saturday. And if the majority votes for Five Nights at the Krusty Krab Chapter 3, you guys will get that Sunday. Okay? So I did post a poll. If you guys check out the poll, vote in it. All right, I'll try to advertise it as much as I can, even on Discord. Let me go here. Let me go to my chatterbox. Chatterbox. All right, so we'll see. I posted a message to Discord. I didn't tag everybody. But ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready to wrap up the stream and call it a day? I think that, you know, altogether we did a decent job, like just talking, chilling, relaxing, and for me personally, I calmed down quite a bit. We talked about a decent amount of things, and I think we had a meaningful conversation today. So I think we'll chill. I think apparently I might be out of breath a little bit, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Yours truly is about to get up out this jam. V Stein. Hopefully I won't doze off tonight watching stream. Yes, you will, Nitro. Well, actually, you won't, because we're getting ready to end it. Shigen! That's not how you cut Shigen! She was like, what she said? I think she was like, Dolly, what? I'm cutting the Shigen. He said, I got to cut the Shigen. He said, that's not how you cut Shigen. He is funny. He was like, babe, what are you doing? She was like, what? I'm cutting the Shigen. He looked at her like, that's not how you cut chicken. I ate a medium New York pizza for dinner. What is that? Wow. You're gonna have to, we need this immediately. Ah, man, my back. They had to put the best one at the end. The pizza was the size of an extra large pizza. What you want, woman? In case you guys ever notice why my screen be shaking like that, is because my cat will jump up. I just realized I don't have anything to drink because Steel made me drink it all. I think it would have been so nice to play Metal Gear Solid 3 for you guys. But what ended up happening was we just don't have access to it, and I find out that's a Xbox 360 game. Telling you, man, y'all have to, I don't know, it may be a decent idea to look at the best synthwave video game remixes slash covers. But guys, I think we're gonna get up out this gym. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to eat. I'm going to relax. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Tomorrow I'm going to figure out what we're gonna be streaming first. Hopefully some of you guys tune in. You'll surely appreciate you guys for tuning in, listening to me, helping me calm down a bit. See you tomorrow.